I'm Ken Anderson with Profoam. I'm at PMC today with Tim Newmeyer, Technical Director here at PMC. Okay.
Yep.
He's going to go over with me today how to take apart and rebuild the hydraulic cylinder on a PH-2. All right, Tim.
Okay.
What do we got to do to get this?
All right. Well, certainly the first thing you're going to have to do, you got to turn off your inlet valves coming into your machine. All right.
Control pressure and everything. Everything off.
All the pressures are off. You're going to relieve your pressure, your main system pressure here, either at these recirc valves or at the gun. Okay. Everything's off. Heats are off. Power's off. Okay. You're going to close your inlet ball valves on both sides. Okay. We're going to drop this. Inlet monitoring assembly, okay, at this swivel, okay. You can get a piece of cord, a piece of rope, some of those flexi things at Home Depot, and you can secure this assembly to the machine here, or just drop it down and have something to actually support it.
So we're going to take that apart where, right here?
Yeah, at that swivel fitting, correct. Okay, you're going to do that to both sides. Okay, you're now going to, you can put like a rag here and have a JIC, a number 6 JIC cap and plug. Okay, and then you're going to remove this hose from the fitting coming into the outlet block part of the pump. You're gonna cap the fitting and plug the swivel. Okay.
Good.
All right. So you're going to do that on both sides. You're going to do that on both sides.
Are both sides the number 6 JIC?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Perfect.
Down here, of course, they're different going to the spray hose, but up here they're the same.
Okay.
Okay. So you're going to take the plexiglass safety covers off. Okay. And you're going to use your clevis pin removal tool, and you're going to pull the clevis pin.
That's that piece right there.
Right. So with this, you can see here is that the clevis is kind of facing the opposite direction. But once you have this removed, okay, you can and you're going to take the pump off if you're rebuilding if you're going to repack the pumps. And certainly, if you're going to redo the hydraulic cylinder, you have to take the pumps off. Right? There's no two ways around.
Where?
Okay, so you would remove these 4 socket head screws. Okay, those screws are what's holding this pump to these 2 standoffs. Okay. You can break them loose with a standard Allen wrench. Not 100% sure what size it is, but I'll get back to that. But you would loosen those screws up, okay, and then you can get a extended ball driver, Allen ball driver for that, and just get a ratchet wrench and just take them off. Okay, so now, but you don't take them all the way off. You keep them a little bit loose. All right, this is obviously removed. Okay, and you can use a screwdriver and just try to and turn that clevis to where the threaded side of the clevis pin is now accessible. Get your tool, thread it on, and pull it. Kind of shimmy the pump a little bit, pull it out, and then remove the bolts the rest of the way and take the pump off.
Perfect.
So if you try to remove this pump, if you try to remove that clevis pin with these bolts and the pump tight onto these standoffs, it can be difficult. So I always loosen these up the best I can, pull the pin, and then take the pump off.
Okay, now we're gonna do the same to the other side.
You can do the same thing the other side.
On this side, we have our lube box too.
Right. So you're gonna have your lube cylinder. You got the same clevis pin, right? Obviously, so now you're going to have to, not only are you capping and plugging this, you now have to get something underneath here, and you have to loosen up this fitting and drain the pump lube. Okay. If you don't do that, or if you don't have something to catch that fluid, it's going to come. It's going to be all over the machine.
Okay.
Okay. So after, and then you're going to pull the. You're going to do the same thing. Drop. You're going to drop the inlet thing here. Pull the pin or loosen these. Pull the pin. Take the pump off.
Perfect.
All right. So now the hydraulic cylinder. You're going to loosen these hydraulic fittings here, right? Compression style or
Okay.
JIC fittings here. All right.
But
And
we
now,
don't really need to cap those, do we?
no.
We just have to catch any drips. That's all.
Yes. Yeah. So right. So now you have these loose. The pumps are off. Okay. But now you have the backside. I'm going to spin the machine around. Okay, so now we have to remove all of this. Okay, so you have the 4 bolts, the 1, 2, and there's 2 on the bottom.
Okay.
That are holding that hydraulic cylinder onto the hydraulic cylinder manifold, which is here.
So we're taking this whole thing off as one unit.
Yes.
We're not taking it into little pieces.
Right. Yep.
Okay.
You could take these off of here just for safety's sake, in case this thing drops down or something and these things break. But I've never done that. I've always kept them on. Anyway, so excuse me. So you're going to loosen up. You're going to remove those bolts, and you're going to loosen them up the best you can. And then you're going to reach around and you're going to hold on to the cylinder and just take the bolts out, and the cylinder will come off.
Got it.
Okay. Obviously, this is the directional valve with the directional valve coils going up into the console. Retrack it normal. Okay.
Pocket.
Yeah, you don't really have to. You don't have to remove. You don't have to remove the pressure gauge. And that cylinder will come off.
Okay.
You're going to have the standoffs. Now, these standoffs, these 4 standoffs are going to be still attached to here, right? And they're going to have the same size socket head bolt screws that are on this side, right? But you're now going to take this, and the rest is bench work, right? So you're going to now take this assembly and put it on the bench, and then you can remove these, so you're not having to get inside here really hard,
Okay. Let's go do that. We got one over on the bench now.
Yep. Okay. So here's the hydraulic cylinder. Now, mind you, we would have those standoffs would be on here, right? So now
Right off here.
right,
On each side.
right. Yep. Right. So now we can, since we're on the bench, we can remove them, take those 4 standoffs off, and now we're left with this. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're now going to these clevises, okay, which is where you just pulled the clevis pin from that attaches to the chemical pump, are actually pinned.
That's just a spring pin, rolled spring pin?
That's just a roll pin. Right. Yep. Okay, so here's the roll pin.
Looks just like this. Okay.
Okay, and you're going to use, you're going to use a standard knockout. Shame on me. I should know what size that is. I don't know that. What size is that? It is it's a 3 millimeter. Okay. So we're going to put that in. We're going to knock the pin out.
Do we have to do that on both sides or just on one?
Yeah, on both sides.
Okay.
Okay. And then you would just unscrew. You can hold on to the one side, and this will just unscrew.
Okay.
Okay. And you're going to have the reversing switch assembly plate is going to be onto this clevis. You don't have to take that off. Okay. So you're going to do that to both sides. Okay.
Okay.
So now we're going to remove the remove the tie rods that are holding the pump assembly together. And this is I believe it's a 1/2 inch. Okay, and we're going to unscrew these. Okay, these are on here like so. So we're going to unscrew these, and we're going to take them all the way out.
Okay.
Right, and now it's good to do this have a bucket or something nearby
Something to catch this
because
fluid inside
this
there,
is
yeah.
full of hydraulic fluid.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So so now that's going to come apart, and along with it's going to loosen up the whole assembly. These two flanges are also going to come off.
Okay.
Okay. And these blocks, the pressure blocks here are also going to come off. So everything's going to come apart.
Yeah.
Everything's going to come apart. Okay. So now we have, now we can, since these clevises are now removed from the hydraulic piston shaft, guys call it the piston ram, the hydraulic ram, whatever. So now this is actually what it looks like. These are now removed, and everything's going to come right off.
Perfect. Perfect.
Okay.
So what's inside now that we need to be changing in a rebuild?
Right. So now we're going to go, and I have. You want to move the camera over to here a little bit? Right. I got and Jay from our assembly department is going to go over some stuff here. So, also what we're going to have. So this is the inside, and you're going to have, right? You're going to have a wiper here. You're going to have Jay. Where's that green fitting? Okay. So we're going to have inside of here. Inside of here, we're going to have the green lip seal. Okay, that's going to go inside of here.
Okay.
And we also have a wiper that goes into this end.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. So, and then also we're going to have an O-ring that goes on here, and also with a white backup ring. And Jay will show you how to put that together. One thing also is that you want to make sure that when you take these apart and you're replacing the O-rings and everything else, that you use a liberal amount of grease. Okay, so all this stuff goes together better when you got white lithium grease.
And it also matters in this case.
Or Vaseline or whatever.
It matters which way those seals go in, which side of the O-ring that the backup ring goes on, things like that.
Right.
So,
Yeah, so the first one we're going to put in, we're going to load it up with some grease here. And then there's a flared edge on it. And this flared edge is going to be facing up. So you can just squeeze it a little bit and it slides right in. It's not hard. Just make sure it gets in all the way. And that's in right there.
just like that, in that direction.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So you have to remember. Sorry, Jay. But you have to remember is that flared open end faces the pressure.
Right.
Okay, that's
so
always going
to help it seal better.
And that's either with a hydraulic cylinder or a chemical pump, whatever.
The other side, same thing. We're going to lube it up. This has a little lip on the top.
Okay.
And that lip is going to be facing the top. Let me put it in just like that. And then what I usually do is just make sure it's in there good. Take your finger and squeeze it around to make sure it sits really well in there.
Okay.
Because this is going to also slide through that piston.
So it'll look just like this. Okay. Perfect.
And you have the backup ring and then your O-ring. Again, lube this prior to putting them on. Backup ring just slides right on. Make sure it doesn't cross over. Make sure it's sitting well all the way around. The O-ring goes in after that. Facing on this side.
So again, the O-ring is always on the pressure side.
Right. Yep.
Okay. Now, here's our block that this is going to go in. So before I put this into the block, our friend, Mr. Lube, go in here. In addition to that, I'm going to put some lube on this. Make sure that goes on sort of centered. Flip it over. And you can hear it click in. And then you know it's in place. Once it's clicked in, you can take and wipe that the grease off. Just make sure you're still in there. And it's in flush here. This has to be flush.
Okay.
Okay, so we have the two pieces. The other side of this definitely needs this O-ring because you will have a leak if you don't put this O-ring in. 100% guaranteed. Again, little lube in there. There's a little slot that this slides into. So when you put this on, make sure you're in that slot. It's a little slot that goes all the way around there. You can see it sitting in that slot. And then again, we're going to put some lube on top of that. So when we put these two together, we're not going to have any issues with leaking.
You must get a discount on grease.
Good deal, Andrew.
We'll buy it by the 55-gallon drum.
So these are the two M blocks. Okay, next we want to do our cylinder. Very careful that you don't damage anything on here on the shaft. Inspect it, make sure there's nothing in here, any
Nicks or
foreign matting,
gouges,
nicks, gouges, whatever. Johnny Lube's on the spot again. A generous amount in there, make sure you get it all in there, all the way around. And we have our centerpiece here. This goes right into the center, like so.
Okay.
Another backup ring here. I'm going to refer to my book here because it's been a while. If we can turn that page. Pretty sure it goes this way. And then this with the flare facing to the outside.
Because your pressure is going to be here
right.
and here.
That's right. Yep.
Same thing, this backup ring just slides right over. Make sure that this bevel is on top of it, not underneath. And then we put this one on same way. Make sure it's sitted good. And that's
And
it.
let me guess, you're going to grease it up again, aren't you?
I am. Can I just flip the page with this thing? Maybe remove the book. Put that back there. Book over here. This has been a while. Okay, lube. So we're going to lube a couple things here. First, we're going to lube up the cylinder itself. A nice little amount in there. And go all the way around the inside of that cylinder. Make sure you cover every inch of that inside cylinder. You don't want them gaskets to tear as you're putting them in, rip, will cause a leak. Okay, see it's all lubed up on the inside. And then we're also going to lube this guy again on the outside. Protect them gaskets.
You got a little hair on there from the brush. There we go.
Don't want no foreign matters in there. Okay, so when you go put this in, slide in a little bit of an angle like that, and then you can just sort of push that top
help that
edge.
seal in?
Yep. And then you're in. And that's it. The next step we're going to do, just make sure I'm on the right page here. I don't want to go too far ahead of myself. We already did this. We did both sides of this.
And you just put the ends on now.
Put the ends in now.
Yep.
Very critical that you have the to the top. These are for your ports for your
pressure
fitting, for your fittings.
Pressure fittings.
Yep. Now again, we're going to take this cylinder, lube this up. And this is just going to slide through. I recommend holding the back of this, but it usually slides pretty easy. I just hold it anyhow. And then we go ahead and do the same thing on this side. Lube this guy up real good. And same thing, we're going to hold this back side, push this through, and there you have the cylinder together with the blocks connected to it. So everything is all together now. Just usually like to clean off the grease because we are going to be putting Loctite on these threads.
Okay.
Which I'm going to do that right now. I usually put these on last just because they're going to fall off anyhow. So one has threads on it, one does not have threads. Okay. And that just slides right over top of that. Same thing here, that slides right over the top of that.
And that's for these bolts, is the threaded
That's
parts for those. So
yes. So we can go ahead and bolt this together and then put these on after.
Okay. Mhm.
You know, that's-
And those bolts get blue Loctite, right,
these
Jay?
are, yes, these
Mhm.
are, bolt itself is a 5/16 18 by 7.5 grade 5 bolt with a lock washer and a flat washer. And then this also gets a little bit of blue Loctite. What I like to do here, and everybody has their own preferences, I like to put it through the hole first.
It doesn't matter which end you put that through, right, Jay? No,
On this? No.
Yeah, okay, got it. Yep.
Well, it's got to go into the threaded.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
That
Yep,
part matters.
yep,
But if this is
yep,
spun
you're
on that side, that
Yep,
would matter.
got it. Yep. Mhm.
So then just a little dab of Loctite there. And we can put all 4 of these in. Loctite there. Now, every once in a while, you will get one of these bolts that are a little bent or something. You'll know as soon as you go to start screwing it in. It's a little bit out of Wombus. And I like to start them by hand first. Get the threads to grab.
And that's what, a 1/2 inch, Jay? Or
This is a 9/16? No, 1/2 inch.
1/2 inch?
So all I'm doing is just going corner to corner,
Yeah.
tighten them up.
You don't have to completely tighten them up, Jay, since we're just doing a, we're doing a,
Okay.
But,
Okay, so when you do tighten them up, corner to corner on tightening it up, just so it pulls in evenly, then do this corner. And then once you get that tight, you're going to torque it to 20 foot-pounds.
Okay.
And then it's a matter of you're going to put these on. And these, like I said, we already lined up the hole here. It's sitting on top. So once you screw this in, if you have this handy tool, because you do have to line that pin up. I'm not going to put the pin in, but I'll just line it up. Otherwise. You can see through it, so probably another 1/2 turn should make it. So there you know the pin's going to go all the way through because this went all the way through. So prior to putting the pin in, if you can find something to put underneath this,
block of wood or something?
block of wood,
Yep.
anything that's going to keep it, because you're going to take this, then you're going to take your hammer and you're going to bang that down.
That pump.
Right.
Not only that, you could bend this shaft by beating on it without no support underneath of it.
Okay.
Got it. It's the good thing about working with this particular PH-2 hydraulic cylinder is the fact that these clevises are pinned, and you don't have to tighten them up, torque and tighten them up with the same way that you would with the classic machine hydraulic cylinder, which is different. Like we had talked
Yeah, this
about
thread's not
before.
really getting tight, it's pinned.
Right. So if you have, there'll be a number of times that we've gotten calls that people will think that, they have a problem with the pump, and they'll think that the clevis is backing out because they can see the threads. Well, that's not the case. That's just how this
That's why it's
clevis
pinned,
goes on,
right.
and it's pinned, so it can't move.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And then
All right.
from there,
In addition to the pin, there will be Loctite on them threads too.
Right.
Blue
Right.
Loctite before.
Right.
I just didn't put it on in this case.
Mm-hmm.
so then from here, it's just a matter of taking it back to the machine
And reinstalling it.
reinstalling it.
Yep.
Just the opposite of what we did to take it off.
Yep. And I have the video. I have the video on our resource link, Tim's Tech Tips, on rebuilding the PH-2 pumps and reinstalling them back onto the machine. I have that
Perfect.
on our
We already
website.
have that video. So.
Yep.
All right,
All right.
Tim. I
Thank
appreciate
you,
it.
Jay.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
Oh, of course.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Okay.
it.
Yeah, no
Thanks,
problem.
Tim.
Okay, Ken. Yeah, man.
Hope that helps.
Thank you, Jay.
Of course.
Appreciate it.
So that wraps up this video. Thanks for coming along to PMC with me. That is how we rebuild the hydraulic cylinder on a PH-2 machine. It's not that hard. It'll take you a little time, but it's not that hard to do. Give it a shot if you need to. I'll list the rebuild kit for the hydraulic cylinder, as well as the little clevis pin removal tool for taking those 2 pins out of the pump shaft. And I'll see you next video.